Hi everyone, Dr. Ty here with Dr. Chaz, and today we're going to teach you about the wobble. The wobble is, there's two parts to the wobble. There's the warm-up part of the wobble, and there's the exercise part of the wobble. So before we get into that, why do we wobble? Number one, the wobbling is for your spine to become hydrated, to warm up the soft tissues that surround the entire spine. The disc spaces are extremely important in cases of degeneration or whatever it may be, that we keep them hydrated, because you're going to, number one, prevent arthritis from happening when there's motion. So we want to create motion in the spine because motion is life. When you keep the spine motion, any joint that stays in motion will continue to lubricate correctly and stay healthy for the rest of your life, okay? So we want to get this whole thing, all 24 segments of the spine, moving like crazy, again, for the discs, for the joints, to hydrate them, keep them lubricated, but also for the muscles and the ligaments and the tendons to keep them nice and stretchy and flexible, okay? So the wobbling is extremely important in times that we're going to be before the adjustment, before the home care for those that are going through the corrective care plan, but also I use it for times where right before a workout. I use it before I go golfing, before I go on a long drive somewhere that I'm just going to be sitting for a long time, sit in the computer for a long time. So there's many different applications for this wobbling. Now we're going to go to the how we do that. So there's two parts, like I said. There's the warm-up part, and then there's the exercise part. The warm-up part, there's three different sections to that, or three different modules, if you will. And then we're going to go into what's called the X pattern exercise. So as far as the warm-up goes, then Dr. Chaz is going to turn to the side here. Okay. The first one is going to be a forward-backward motion. Now, real quick, this is the wobble disc. Okay. It's designed as a fulcrum so that your pelvis sits on this. Your buns sit right here, and you're going to rotate this back and forth and front and back and side to side. And your pelvis is rocking back and forth, not just your body moving. Okay, so the intention is to take this spine and literally get it to do this and to do this. That's what creates the motion. That's what creates the hydration and pumps all those fluids where they need to go. So we're going to start with the forward back motion. You're going to see that Dr. Chaz is going to just tip his head, turn his whole back into a big C right here. And now he's sucking in his gut and squeezing the core. Again, another good core exercise right there. Now he's going to rotate the hips forward, and notice his whole body goes back. His eyes are looking up, but see this nice great arch in here? Now we're going to go forward again. So that's the motions in there. Now speed-wise, you can start out nice and slow and then speed up. That's what I do. I start out, kind of give it a nice stretch, and just really engage all of the motion in your spine. And then you can speed up to where Dr. Chaz is going right now. That's a good speed. You're going to do this 15 times back and forth, okay? And then once you've done that 15 times, we're going to go to the next one, which is a side-to-side motion. So we're going to spin Dr. Chaz this way so you can see, and you can follow him this way. It's much easier. So as you can see, his spine's nice and straight here. He's sitting up nice and straight here. He's not slouching when he's doing this. First motion, this is called the picking the weeds one. He's going to reach down and try and grab one of those weeds on the ground, okay? But notice his whole head, his upper back and his lower back has gone to the right, but his pelvis is going to the left. Okay, so we want to go opposite pelvis to the upper body. Now he's switched over, and again, look at that beautiful curve that he's putting in there, neck all the way down. So I always try and start with the neck and then follow with the upper back and lower back. But again, see how he's moving side to side with that, just taking that spine. This is literally what it looks like. Okay. Now, can you imagine just continuing to do that 15 times? You're really hydrating everything and pushing those fluids where they need to go. So that's the picking the weeds. That's number two. Number three is now we're going to put a rotation into it with dropping the pelvis side to side. So we're going to put our arms up like this, And he's going to turn his head first because we want to get the neck engaged as well as everything else. So now he's going to rotate that upper body around and drop the hips to the left, upper body's going to the right. So again, upper body goes one way, hips go the other way. Now he's going to switch it around and go that way. Got great mobility and great motion. He's very flexible. He's been doing this forever. He's got this down. So what we can start off with maybe is, Doc, give him an idea of where we can start with that. Just nice and easy. Go to your range. Go to where you can, you know, and he's not tipping his hips as much. And then as you get more advanced, now we can tip the hips into there more. So go with what your body's going to allow you to do at first. And then from there, expand on that and get further range of motion. Okay, so now we're warmed up. We've done that again 15 times both ways in all 3 of those warm-ups. Next step is the X pattern. So let's go ahead and flip around forward. So the X pattern, you see this little X right here. This is just kind of a diagram on the directions you're going to go. There's a couple other around the room. The warm-ups are right here. They're going to be on the wall as well as a reference if you're not watching this video and you're in this room. There's 6 of them. We taught you 1, 3, and 5. The other ones are bonus, if you will, or extra credit. Okay, so the X pattern. The X pattern is the exercise portion. And what we're going to do is we're making an X basically looking straight down at us. So our knees are the top part of the X, and then the back part of the X is obviously just the opposite, diagonal opposites. So what we're going to use those references for is that's the way we're going to move our hips. So we're going to start to the front right with Dr. Chaz. So his pelvis went that way, but his upper body and his head and his back go this way. So he's getting that nice extension. We're opening up the disc spaces that way and letting that fluid, if you can imagine a sponge and just opening that sponge up, it's sucking all the fluids in. That's what we want. That's how it rehydrates. That's how we get rid of the arthritis and those changes that are coming. Now we're going to switch and go straight back to the right or the left. That's fine too. So we'll go back to the left. Notice he's now arching forward. Okay, this is where we engage that core. Suck in that gut, squeeze it hard. Now we're going to go straight up to the left. Excellent. And everything goes back to the right with the upper body. And now we're going to go straight diagonal back to the right. Okay, so again, body goes front left, back, pelvis goes back right. We're going to hold these positions for 3 seconds minimum. You can hold for longer. One of the other things I suggest as well is listen to your body. If when you go front right, back right, you feel it's tighter, spend more time. Spend 5, 6 seconds on those. And then when you go front left, back left, if it's not as tight, do your 3 seconds. That'll help balance things out even better as well over time. So let's go ahead and switch around and face away and just show them what that looks like. Again, I'm just, yeah, there you go. Pelvis goes forward, head and back go backwards, pelvis goes back, okay? And so we're just getting through that range of motion, holding for 3 seconds, and just getting the spine completely infused with fluids. So those are the motions. We're gonna do this for 5 minutes minimum. If you wanna do it longer, go for it. But otherwise, warm-ups, those 3 warm-ups, it'll take you about 3 minutes or so. The wobble exercise, the X pattern, is 5 minutes. Go ahead and switch around, Doc. And so that's about 8 to 10 minutes that you're going to take and warm up the spine. Now, again, when would we do this? We do it before the adjustment to get the best adjustment. That helps us as doctors, as chiropractors, to give you the best adjustment. So make sure you're always wobbling before your adjustment. Number 2, your home care. You know, there's a lot that we have you doing at home, and this sets up the spine. It warms up the spine so that your rehab works the best as well. Number 3, again, before an athletic event, before you go out and work in the yard, before a long drive, before you're going to sit at the computer for a long time, in between sitting at the computer for a long time, all these things, you can do a 5-minute wobble and it'll make a world of difference. Do it right before you go to bed. Do it right when you get up in the morning. It'll change your life. Such a great, great exercise for you. So real quick, how not to do this as well. Put the effort into it, get the full range of motion, or you're not going to get much out of it. So Doc, give me an example of what we see people do sometimes. Okay, really? That's not doing much, okay? And then something that that we are addicted to in a big way, we have a sign that says absolutely no cell phone zone. So why would that be bad? Because we're going to try and restore this curve in your neck and your posture, but we're a flexed society. We need to be an extended society, and we're doing this all the time. So if Doc's sitting here wobbling like this, okay, looking at his phone, get over it, put it away. We'll come, remind you what this cell phone free zone is. And again, it's because we care about you, we love you, and we want the best for you, okay? So any questions, ask us. If there's any pain with this, don't just stop and not say anything. Stop and tell us. Bring a question to us. We know how to modify things for you. But over and above, that is going to help out our job to help you get better. It's going to help your friends if you want to teach them how to wobble with their injuries and things like that. And we just appreciate you guys putting the time into it to correct yourselves, because you're just going to be better functioning people as a result. So be blessed and be a blessing.